Greetings everyone, and Grade here with another Advanced Wars by Web replay. Spawn on the north side as the Orange Star Drake. We got a foreign name. Spawn on the south side as the Yellow Comet Andy. We got Mech Donalds. Hopefully goes for mechs. Either way, this map is a 3-base map. We've got the strong and weak side mechanic. 1 base on this side, 2 base on this side. Pipe scenes on both sides to slow down both of each other's advances. There is an airport on the weak side, but let's be frank, aircraft are agile enough where they can support either side. And plus, sometimes a little bit more difficult to pull out battle coppers each turn when you have 3 bases, since infantry do cost a little bit. 3 bases means at least 3,000. So we probably won't see any battle coppers per turn, if that's what both players can be eyeing, until probably 12,000 income. Tanks, however, will be 7,000 plus 2 other bases, so 9,000 income. Orange Star or Drake has deployed out a black boat there, as well as a recon. This map's pretty good for recons. All these shores are effectively the same as roads. So very, very agile. Won't interrupt this capture, but he also has gone straight for this comm tower here. So Drake has early tips and firepower lead. I wasn't paying too close attention, but his initial entry must have sprinted over there. Though the black boat could have helped out that. Wasn't paying close enough attention to it. Let's pick up that entry unit there. Could try flipping this city of all things. And we got an early mech deployed by Drake to help capture the corner property, as well as destroy the recon. Andy's recon is forward, but will not be able to interrupt the capture. If the players, and these are definitely higher rated players, I think both players are within the top 10, or at least one of these players within the top 10, would actually do some basic counting, which means 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So it could actually push farther forward. If I'm not incorrect, could have pushed a little bit farther forward. Yeah, I can see here it goes well past over here. So he only took a small move and a full move, because I think he was trying to prevent the first strike from the other recon. And then he would have had to place on top of... There may have been some sort of trying to prevent first strike there. So this will be flipped, so not pushing all the way forward maybe was a bad call. But this property will be flipped nice and early. And probably flipped back nice and early. We have a tank now deployed out by Andy. Drake has gone for mechs. And a tank up here as well. And those of you may try to capture this full health infantry unit rather than 9 health mech, which may be better. Mechs, of course, 3,000. Infantry, of course, only 1,000. And looks like Andy will be on the capture there, so cleared out the mech. I've seen a lot of players use artillery, but it feels like mech is just a cheaper alternative for it. Let's go and take time to capture the property with the mech. But in this case, no. And pull the tank right there of all locations. He may be concerned about something. Excuse me. I mean, on top of the forest there and here should both be safe enough. So I'm not sure where the tank is right there. I might be missing something. One thing when it comes to Andy versus Drake matchup, Andy of course has the power to cancel out the damage from Drake's power or superpower. It's still a good idea to pop the power in order to counter out the power of Drake, even though it be full refund. But it may be a good idea to Drake tried to interrupt the cycle of him popping power and or superpower, then Andy popping his power and or superpower to counter it. There is a cycle there where he may try to break, like go for an early power as soon as he can in order to put Andy in an awkward position. Though he can also always pop the superpower as well, and power included, just to wound his opponent so he can push easily through, say, a wall. And rather than trying to just do global damage, just try to weaken a wall before a follow-up attack. Won't be as powerful to say the least, but sometimes necessary. And this pipe scene has taken a bit of a beating there, down to 2 health. Which infantry units probably can't finish off. The mech should be able to finish it off. Probably a bad idea to let the mech finish off rather than using artillery. Drake has a pretty good core of tanks here. He is also taking capture up the lab. The lab is not critical. This is an HQ map. A bit of a bold play there, but it's going to be successful. Just don't think there's enough spotting here. I suppose pushing forward like that, I'm just always concerned about, a tank coming from reinforcement. But he did have confidence of the reinforcing tank, in case the tank did show up and fire upon it. But either way, in this case, the gamble was actually very effective. Got double anti-air here. Drake, it has gone for battlecopter. He does have minus 30% firepower on his air unit, so his battlecopter is particularly not good. But can be occasionally. Can't go for too many of them. It's best for him to avoid the any sort of aircraft. His land units are completely and utterly ordinary, like Andy's. Andy has no issue going for battlecopters. Plus, his superpower giving all units possible in movement range is very nice, including infantry units. Got medium tank recon infantry, so Andy is well a medium tank. And unlike most COs, as I mentioned earlier, he doesn't have to worry about global damage whittling it down. He can simply repair it on up. And if it gets too badly wounded, he can also really boost up its health with hyper upgrade. And plus with movement range, so it becomes as agile as a light tank. And another battlecopter by Drake. I am not totally convinced. Though he can use the battlecopters to counter battlecopters, but won't go particularly great. It'll just go okay, which is fine. And he's pushing forward over here, spots both these tanks in this region, finish off that infantry unit there. Slows that tank there, but does counter out with his own tank. This tank, of course, can fall back and allow this tank to engage, but there's still 2 other reinforcing tanks. And Andy does not have vision both these artillery pieces as well, so if he does something like strike this infantry unit, it will be in artillery range. Of course, Drake has quite a presence there, and Andy is going to equalize this front with a Neo tank. There's a lot of mechs there. Drake doesn't actually have too much aggressive assets over here. You got relatively slow mechs, a good number of tanks, and a little bit too many anti-airs in the situation. Granted, it's a good idea to go for 1 at least to counter out battlecopters, but Andy, with our cast vision, has not deployed out battlecopter. Am I losing network connection? No, just my Twitch stream crashed. Actually, Twitch itself may have just crashed. Okay, good to know. Oops, I may have clicked off the next game. Looks like my Twitch stream crashed. My other computer, I can see it also idle there. But everything else seems online. Yep, it says unable to connect, so Twitch, it has started rebooting. And there we go, Twitch stream back online. So it looks like Twitch had a hiccup. Hence why I have other computers just to help monitor everything. Of course, I wasn't really paying attention to Drake's turn there, my apologies. But we do have a medium tank. Range a regular tank. Nothing to range this battlecopter. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Nope, cannot range the battlecopter there. Artillery takes up that pipe scene there, and Neo Tank managed to get a great strike on that tank there. It took 0 or only percentage points of damage, let's call it that. And he takes a good strike there. Tsunami could be popped. Hyper repair, just don't pop superpower. Pop. Always be the second person to pop the power and or superpower versus Drake. But he has the power to counter the superpower. If he needs extra firepower and movement, he can always pop the superpower, but maybe overall it'd be a good idea to just pop the regular power. It's also a good idea for Andy to keep these wounded units alive, because plus 5 health regen. Going for 2 health is not useful. 7 health, very useful. Another anti-air here. Does spot this anti-air there, so going to range the anti-airs. It may be a pop of Typhoon, but in this case, it may be not a good idea to immediately pop Typhoon if you get it. It may be a good idea to pop at the start of turns so you can use the wounded units to your advantage. And he has now Hyper upgrade. Popping it at the end of turn, if he would have obtained it, would not be very useful, but he has now gotten 2 Neotanks on his weak side. Help stabilize this region. Drake end of turn of 132 in the field. Andy starts to turn 129, has 24 versus 24. So overall, it looks like Andy has about a full turn ahead. Pops a superpower first. Okay, this is purely meant for the +1 movement range, and was it +10 or +20 in firepower? I always forget. On my other screen, +10 in firepower. I don't like this, because now Drake can pop a superpower aggressively or not aggressively. He has options. Andy does not have a quick counter to this opponent's power and superpower. He has to make this turn really count down with the +1 movement range, which is very powerful with +7% global firepower, no stipulations of what type of units, so it's overall very useful. Not to mention also in the few movement powers that affects infantry as well. Makes it very handy there. Can he get enough damage done to warrant to eat the tsunami? Recon, infantry. So Skimps out, has 20,000. Speaking of which, I am curious about something as well. Stealths are available. The ends turn of 141, which will likely be cooled down to about 111. And no superpower just yet. Yeah, he should have popped that immediately. Superpower is now active. 112, I actually guessed pretty close. And the medium tank is quite battered, bruised, and beaten, and can't just get healed up with Hyper Repair. And the Neo tank's on 3-star defense property, so you can't use this wounded medium tank to engage the Neo tank. Drake has now pulled ahead, though Andy still has basically his previous turn day-to-day. He has now 45,000. He can go for a stealth this turn. He might. Battle Cop's an easy pick, as most power charge to get Hyper Repair squeezed out as soon as he can. Medium tank and war tank on the left flank. Okay. I don't know why. I was not expecting both of those on one flank. I was half expecting the stealth, but war tank is quite nice. I am not sure how Andy does with war tanks though. There's very few COs I would say war tanks are excellent. The repairs, of course, quite nice, but they have trouble where they still have to stick to cities because they need a constant resupply of ammo. Fuel versus strength will be a continuous problem. It has base fuels 50. This Neotank did receive a first strike from this Neotank. But thanks to being Andy, can't get some global repairs going. Andy could squeeze out a Hyper Repair to top off this medium tank to strike this Neotank. Artillery strike to the Neotank could be very useful at that. He does pop the squeeze of the power there. Medium tank will strike. Oh, soften up even further with the battle copter. Takes the Neo tank with medium tank. Now a lot of recovered funds there. Has 141 versus 99. Andy has quite an advantage. Plus his day-to-day income still, or most of it. A little bit less there. We could see a tsunami pop immediately. Popping tsunami could be a good call. He has most power charge. Maybe pop tsunami at the end of the turn. After all, his opponent has pretty much no power charge at the moment. 5,000 for out of 37,000 needed, which could give him 1 global damage for a decent amount of time going. Let's get a first strike on that medium tank of this Neo tank. Though it does have an artillery piece in range, just soften it up, and maybe the battle compass strike as well. Again, that medium tank is knocked out though. Pull it back because it's Andy. The war tank can start rotating over here at the end turn on the city, but would be immediately spotted, so there is an argument to engage the regular tank there to allow the war tank to creep its way forward. Won't be in a forest, but it could do. Mech is a good strike there. Now the war tank can advance without being spotted, but it can easily still be spotted. Good chance this Neo tank might just strike this tank here. The Drake actually still has both comm towers, and just now realized. Tsunami can be brought on in, reducing the war tank to a bit more manageable numbers, to say the least. So pop Tsunami immediately. Down 115 versus 103. Andy did soar up some funds there. Still no vision that war tank just yet. Mech takes up that unit there. So it's not spotted the war tank, and now he has spotted the war tank. Good strike on the artillery piece there, but the artillery piece is spotted. Takes out that one artillery piece. Effectively knocks out that artillery piece there. Another hyper repair is available, which will top off the health of the war tank. So the Neo tank will likely go down next turn. It's probably a good idea to just pop hyper repair sooner rather than later. Get what power charge you can beforehand, of course. But definitely eye for the hyper repair this turn. Neo tank is out of vision range at the moment. Does get spotted there. That's an easy power charge. Pipes hyper repair now. We got another medium tank over here. Anti-air strikes battlecopter. Granted, a lot of the stuff is pretty low in fuel. The war tank has pocked itself on top of the city, so get resupplied, both in field and ammo. So there's a black boat down to 5 fuel. Wait, that black boat can't reach the harbor. Was that a mistake? Move mistake there? I think he just boosted this turn, right? That's what this APC is meant for, to resupply this black boat. So slightly not great planned black boat there. So of course sometimes it's hard to estimate the fuel consumption with fighting against Drake with the black boat. Andy right now has 132 versus 103, so Andy still has about a full turn ahead. Plus, he has leftover funds here, 13,000. Granted, this new tank will eat a good chunk of that, and it'll be quite delicious. Drake has gone for a bomber. With 2 comm towers, it's still weak, but a bomber is still a bomber, so it should still be adequate with minus 10% firepower in total. And his turn has 33,000 starting. And they both have 5,000 income at the moment. This property is trying to be flipped. Lots of good kills there. Does not take out the anti-air there, so it's probably dead there. another war tank, and to recon infantry support out. There's nothing. The bomber can be used versus war tanks. Let's take a quick look at that. How ineffective is a 2 comm tower bomber versus a Drake bomber versus a war tank? It will put a dent into it, a decent dent, but of course it is Andy. Maybe not a really big enough dent. It's hard to say what he should do against those war tanks, other than be a bit more aggressive on his opponent's weak side. Because right now both players are playing right there, which is a bit more sided better for Andy. What? $79 health, but he base blocked himself. What? I am confused by that. He really wanted that pipe scene open this turn to do a base skip for a pipe scene opening. I do not know about that. Generally, I have no idea what to think about that. I'm just confused. Though it would be an interesting ambush against Andy. We would be not expecting a bomber to be coming out from his opponent's factory. Because let's be afraid, you don't have to worry about bombers being on top of your opponent's factory. Right now, this Neo tank's now back up to 9 health with 2 war tanks. A lot of heavy armor to crack in here. We do have, of course, a single here to engage the battlecopter and the bomber, and another battlecopter there. I think Drake's gone too heavy in the aircraft, but he does have 2 comm towers. But this may change rather soon. It has 11 capture progress remaining, so it'll be 2 turns. Now he's taking time to destroy these pipe scenes. Drake has foregone the pipe scene destroying. Andy almost went that for immediately. And Drake has not been too aggressive, so Andy was able to capitalize on that quite nicely. Double Drake bomber? Okay, this has to be a pretty big game up by Drake. He has to make sure this compound does not get fooled. This is the only way that the bombers are any worth a damn. Of course, he's not seen the second war tank just yet. This APC is starting to rotate now over in the center of the map after respawning the black boat to keep these war tanks resupplied. He also has this one here as well. Yeah, I don't know how to I don't know how to feel about double Drake bomber. Somebody tells me it's not a good choice. And he almost has a hyper repair, which can be useful for both countering the power and superpower as earlier. And he has gone for a fighter. I think he has. I don't think he's seen any of these bombers. And actually no, this recon spot this bomber, right? This recon has spot the bomber, which is actually quite critical, which means the fighter is going to be very useful, not versus 1 versus 2 bombers. Does pop a tsunami there. Just soften up everything. Hyper repair would be a good idea, regardless if the it's going to get full value of the 2 health restoration. This may be Drake's last hurrah. Andy right now has 160. Drake has 126 of his day-to-day. He's still behind about a full turn. Andy still has an anti-air here to engage both the battlecopter and the bomber. He will have to spend funds repairing up the fighter. 153 ending versus 160 starting, so Andy has a full turn ahead. Did strike there. Try and flex some self-damage as well as get some power charge. Oh, now give him hyper upgrade. Pops a full hyper upgrade, which will restore a decent amount of health in the field, up to 186. So he went up in value of at least, what, 20,000? That anti-air is down to 18 fuel. Fighter gets +1 movement range to quickly respond to the center of the map. And Andy still has a full health anti-air to help engage this bomber. And nothing in the region to actually engage the anti-air, is there? And Drake has hit the resign button now. This Angrade saying thank you for watching, and on to the next replay.